Good morning. This is the fourth video for week two. Again, it's very likely there'll be other ones as well. But these are the ones I want to get into the bank today, although you won't be needing them until the second week. So I hope that you are getting acquainted with the expectations of the syllabus and of the assignments and discussion questions for week one. And now that week two will be coming up and open for the most part Saturday night, so that you can jump right into the next pieces. And as I said in the introductory video, the second week is really where the rubber meets the road in terms of a lot of the expectations of your own progress and growth. So pay careful attention to the topics, to the goals, to the PowerPoint that I posted, which has pretty much everything that you'll need to know that isn't already in the book. So the book and the PowerPoint together, I would start with the book and then go over to the PowerPoint. Will put you in a good place for the balance of the course. As I said in previous videos, this week is about information gathering, if-then thinking. I'm sorry. It's about information gathering and is about phase two, which is about if-then thinking. And we've already explained that pretty extensively in the Futures Wheel video, so I won't belabor it in this particular video, although they are connected. One very important point to make, which I've already made twice at least, is that you can't do the skill I'm going to teach you now without having done the Futures Wheel video before that. And that's why there are two assignments in this week two connected to forecasting skills. First one was about Futures Wheels, and the second one is about what we call cross impact matrix. Now, cross impact matrix is a fancy word for a chart. So let's not get crazy about the words. However, if you break down the words more specifically, you get a pretty quick idea about what we're driving at. Think of it as a kind of spreadsheet. And really what we're looking at is the cross impact of potential probable futures against various groups, individuals, things, concepts that may be impacted by, intersect with the probable futures that you will have generated from the Futures Wheel. And the assignment's clear enough. You need to complete the Futures Wheel. I'm sorry, both the Futures Wheel and the cross impact matrix to really get your arms around the probable futures that are beginning to smack you in the face had you had the time to do a deep information gathering, environmental scanning analysis. So what I'm going to do now is just share the PowerPoint piece about cross-impact thinking. And you will see how to do this rather quickly, although the thinking associated with it is much more complex. So again, this is called the cross-impact matrix, and what it does is help you to project the outcome of probable futures against the other pieces. That is to say, who will be affected by what, and have you factor that into your conversation. So it enables futurists to identify the extent to which these impacts are influence or influence specific factors. And so if you take the other secondary and tertiary consequences, as the outcomes, as the probable futures begin to emerge, as they begin to squeeze out, you begin to see how you can more specifically get involved with and recognize how others' beliefs and actions and power and influence are affected by the likelihood of these particular probable futures that they are, and how they may actually twist the outcome of a given probable future into something you may not have thought through all that well up the road. You would think for the most part that businesses, organizations, and schools would be doing this as a matter of routine, and that isn't the case in my experience, and particularly in schools, but across the board. I think we take for granted that we can just kind of do this between our ears, and some of us who are smarter than I probably pretty good at that. But assuming that you and I are about the same intelligence, you probably need some more training about how to do that. And so here's an example of how it will look like. This is a very simple one. Here's a probable future. Teachers need more future. I'm sorry. And again, I apologize for using teacher school things. For those of you who are not, just what I have up in my bank here. Teachers need more training, and therefore, a probable future is that effective systems must be identified and adopted. Now, who's affected by that? The leaders, who must identify how they will supervise the changes in supervision. And if they must identify who's going to be supervised, they need training in developmental supervisory practices. If teachers need more training, then the curriculum systems need to be coordinated and revised. And that's going to require cross-grade and age considerations must be part of the conversation as well. It's really as simple as that. If it's likely that Goldilocks is going to enter the Three Bears house, who's affected by that? Goldilocks, maybe Goldilocks' parents, Mama Bear, the Papa Bear, and the baby bear. I forget who that was for a moment. How will they be affected by the probability of Goldilocks entering the Three Bears house? And that's how it works. So more specifically, here's an example. If a probable future was that achievement levels are going to remain static, well, who is that affecting? Obviously, students, parents, teachers, and community, and maybe the vision of the organization is correct. If you mean to raise the price of a product, that's a probable future. Well, clearly the customers go up in this corner, and maybe the suppliers go up in this corner, and the workers go up in this corner, and maybe that does affect the shared vision. So what you need to do is to use the template that I did provide. So I think I arbitrarily gave you stakeholders to think about how will they cross over. Watch my cursor here. How will they cross over and impact or be impacted by the other category? And what's going to happen is you're going to begin to squeeze out new futures, new probabilities, an array of other things to think about. And it's going to twist and turn and remold, thankfully. I think you'll thank me for this once you get a muscle on this. How you involve, how you see probable futures evolving, and more likely than not, this is coming attractions, it will enable you to begin to squeeze down not only to more preferable futures, which is phase 3, but also more likely enable you to come up with strategies and tactics to assure yourself that the preferable future that you want, as a consequence of sifting out the probable futures that you've taken a look at, is more likely to bring about what it is that you want. So here's how you construct one, okay? You get consensus among your group or for yourself if it's just for you, to identify the most probable or interesting probable futures that you think, and put them along the y-axis. Then use, again, if you have a group dialogue, to identify factors, people, groups, values, themes, environment, whatever it is that you want to do that are somehow likely to be affected by this, and you write those individually on the x-axis. And sometimes you'll need to have individuals or subgroups project likely outcomes of how the x and y factors intersect and impact with each other. Don't rush the dialogue, okay? And this is important to remember. Where in the futures wheel, there was really one idea in each of the circles. In this case, you can put more than one idea into the boxes. In fact, if you only put one idea in each of the boxes, it's probably a very superficial cross-impact matrix. And the one you're going to submit to me should have should show some good thinking. What's going to happen is you're going to see some deep systemic organizational skills will begin to evolve. And you're going to begin to see how you need to think about flexible ways to complete all of these premises that go with it. And it's very important to, once you complete the chart, to sit back and step back from it, take a look at what it's all about so that you can debrief it, which is why there's a paragraph expectation in the course impact assignment I gave you to submit to me. I don't expect it to be a dissertation thinking, but I do expect it to be some good leadership organizational skills. And I'll respond to what I think I see after you show me what it is that you want me to see. And that brings us across to the third dimension, which is three-dimensional futuring, and that is week 3. So rather than make your hair hurt too much, we'll stop there. And again, feel free, not this next week so much, but next week I think I will be less than I usually am. and I'll probably post a night. I'm thinking next Monday night. That would be the 12th, but I'm not promising you that. Well, I'll announce it'll be a live Zoom session for anybody who chooses to participate. And if you choose to participate, I'll be happy to answer questions there. If you're not able to participate that time, I will post a video for you to watch on your own time. And if you would like to speak to me, you let me know and I will speak to you. Take care.